Evaluation Question 1. In what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products?
Once we discovered which genre to pursue, we researched into the conventions commonly placed with social realism. Looking at films such as London to Brighton, Fish Tank and Albatross, we noticed many similarities between them. We discovered that many recently released social realism films have female protagonists and explore themes like sexual exploitation of women and girls and patriarchal expectations. Not only does this voice the feminist issues still prominent in today's society, but also demonstrates females' ability to fight against these problems. London to Brighton, for example, starts with a young teenage girl who becomes independent in an attempt to escape a previously unstable home. However, along her journey she faces adolescent sexual assault and severe death threats and harassment, highlighting more issues in a brutal world. In our own trailer, we put together a series of establishing shots that would convey the female protagonist's newly found independence in an attempt to escape a life of poverty and hindered potential. It is evident from the dark, ominous atmosphere we created when filming in a low-lit street that she is entering into an even worse struggle.
The narrative of our piece is about a girl battling poverty, prostitution, the struggles concerning females and working class people. Social realism appears to follow a particular narrative whereby the protagonist is faced with the struggle to start with and then attempts to improve the struggle in their life, but ends up being involved in what is arguably an even worse experience. In I, Daniel Blake, for example, from the start of the film the main character is denied employment and support allowance and attempts to improve his situation, but he is led into a spiral of worse situations until his eventual death at the end of the film. This forces a dark perception of real life on audiences, as social realism often does. We try to convey this in our own trailer by including short clips of the girl receiving threatening texts from her pimp and a more uplifting clip of her in a feminist protest crowd. We wanted to expand our target audience to those with strong feminist opinions, therefore we developed our narrative in this way, which added an alternative look on her situation. Like in many other social realism films, it is up to critical opinion as to whether the ending leaves the audience with a sense of hope or brutal reality as shown by the negative ending.
Many social realism films include humour within serious topics. We decided not to include this in our trailer as we believed that this would deter the audience from the emotional investment in the film. When building tension within our trailer, we were particularly inspired by the theatrical trailer for The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. We especially liked the use of slow fades between shots to begin with, which gradually sped up. The increased speed conveyed more emotional stress and struggle within the trailer. This was well suited to our storyline and social realism genre. Social realism films often make use of everyday locations for their shots rather than big budget studio sets. Therefore, we decided to check out and carry out location recce's on areas that we were all familiar with and that created a feeling of normality for the audience. For example, the streetlight scene was shot in our local town, Tunbridge Wells, and we didn't change anything in the shot to keep it as natural as possible. This emphasised the idea that anyone could experience this situation. When creating our poster, we once again looked into the typical conventions and experimented with minimalist and theatrical posters. All posters included Cupcake, also known as Harriet, the protagonist within our trailer. This was inspired by the posters for Fish Tank, as Kate Jarvis was the main feature. The Fish Tank posters also included a lot of text, critical quotes, who the film stars, producer names and more. To ensure ours looked professional and not amateur, we followed the template of this poster.